what I was just explaining to them for the new people on, instead of sitting here doing a PowerPoint presentation, I'd rather have a conversation with agents. And what I want to do is really, it helps me do a couple things. Number one is actually understand where the mindset of agents really are because, well, it's an issue. And with all the things going on, how do we help them get to the right place? And so what I'm going to do today is really just have a chat with you. And if you want to put your 2 cents in, unmute yourself or put it in the chat box, and we'll go from there. What I would like to start with, and I really want to start challenging agents to start asking this question really every day when you wake up. The question should be, why not you? Why can't you have the business that you want? Why can't you have the cash flow that you want? Why can't you have the freedom that you want? You know, we did an interview on Monday with a gentleman that's going to do between 600 and 700 transactions this year. Now, why not you? Now, the reality of it is you may not want to do 600 or 700 transactions. Maybe you want to do 15 or 20. Maybe you want to make $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 a year. So what I do want to talk about is, yeah, why not you? But there's got to be some basic fundamental things that you put in place. And so the question that I'm going to ask is, what phase is your business in right now? So there's only 3 phases of a business. You're laying the foundation, meaning you're putting all the planning in place. You're putting all the systems in place. You're thinking through what kind of business you want. Then the second phase is growing the revenue. The problem in real estate, and really most businesses, it's not just real estate, everybody skips phase number 1. What is it that you want? What do you want your business to look like? We just go to growing your revenue. And then the third phase is building your wealth. Because if you lay the foundation, you actually think this through, then once you have those systems in place, once you've made those decisions about what your business looks like, then you should grow your revenue. And then because you have the revenue, now you can start to build your wealth. And as far as I can see it, there's only 3 phases. So one of the things like laying the foundation, you have to decide, do you want to be a listing agent or a buyer's agent? And again, it's not whether you like more, I have an opinion, whatever. It's where can I go with the least effort to make the most amount of money? That's what would be important to me as a business owner. Maximum revenue, minimum effort, and we make more money. That's my opinion. That may not be yours. You may just love working with buyers, and then that's okay, but you have to decide. And so if you go and listen to my podcast over the last 2 podcasts, I've broken those down in detail. What are the 5 things you should be looking at when you lay the foundation? So like the number one thing that pops into my head, I want to have a business that doesn't rely on me working my butt off 7 days a week, 364 days a year, taking Christmas off in order to be the one generating revenue. I want additional revenue sources coming from my business, and I lay out a plan to put that in place. I have a business model that I can put that in place. You have to decide what you want. So I'd encourage you to go to ifyoulistyouLast.com, and you can connect with the podcast there. And I'd recommend you listen to those because, in my opinion, you really need to figure out what phase your business is in. And again, the number one mistake agents make is that they skip right to growing their revenue. And then the truth is, very few agents really think about building their wealth. We keep moving from deal to deal and saying, hey, my last deal will be the closing before I drop dead. And real estate agents laugh about that. That's a funny thing. And I promise you, in my opinion, that's not funny. You can build your wealth and you can build a business designed around your life. And so I gave a couple of examples of that in this week's podcast. So I'd recommend you listen to that. So tell me what phase your businesses are in. Chat box or can unmute, doesn't matter to me. What do you think? What phase is your business in? How many don't want to admit? You all have the ability to unmute.
I would say I'm in the growing revenue.
Okay. How about the rest of you? Because if you're not into growing revenue, then you better go back to laying your foundation and figure that out. What the whole real estate asset advisor program is about is helping agents lay that foundation and determine how they do those things. Because then once we decide that, then we can move to growing my revenue. So at the end of the day, you've got to determine where that's at. I want to give you an interesting statistic because everybody in the real estate business just freaking out. Oh my gosh, the business is terrible. And, if you've seen the estimate of closings that came out this week, they estimate that we'll close 4.14 million homes this year. With everything, folks, I tell you to follow the money, do the math. So according to the Washington Post, the average home prices increased by 54%. So in those 5 years, it's gone up 54%. In 2019, we closed 5.34 million houses, 5.345 million homes. In 2024, the estimate is now for 4.14 million homes to sell, and we're about 45% through the year. So that's a 1.2 million decrease. Substantial, but it's a 22% decrease in transactions from pre-pandemic levels. That's why I used 2020, 2019. When the world was going along, real estate was an easy business or a good business, whatever. So here's the question. If prices increased by 54% and volume decreased by 22%, mathematically, aren't we ahead by agent compensation ahead by 32%? Meaning I have to do less transactions to make the same amount of money as I did in 2019. Please tell me how that's a bad thing. Yet all you hear about is all the agents running for the exits and leaving the business. Why are we doing that when we're actually making more money for less work because home prices have risen? Now, the next objection, if you will, I get, or your next thought process is probably, but yeah, dude, have you seen what they've done to commissions now? They're 2.5. Not if you're the listing agent. You control your own comp, right? The basis of everything we do at the Real Estate Asset Advisor Program is about being the listing agent. If you're the listing agent, you set your own comp. The listing process, the home boss process that we use is all about collecting at least 3%. I have some agents getting 3.5 and 4. But if you're the listing agent, you control your comp. It's not up to the buyer anymore. I know what I'm getting paid. Because to me, all the nonsense about buyer comp is stupid. If you're the listing agent, folks, can you guys tell me why a private seller will never sell their home for more money than what we could as an agent? Even if you're a part-time agent, you're not really knowledgeable, you'll still be able to sell a house for more money than a private seller. Does anybody know why that is?
We can generate competition.
Competition. The MLS is competition. So I'm just going to use Maricopa County as an example. We have 55,000 agents. Let's make the assumption that the average agent has a 500-person database. They definitely have a 500-person sphere of influence. Folks, that means they have 27,500 potential buyers. Now, of course, all those aren't going to be in the market, the area, the price that I'm looking at. But I have the ability as an agent to expose it to 27,500 potential buyers. How many does a FSBO have to expose it to? And I'm going to stop using the word FSBO going forward. I'll still catch myself because it's ingrained. But I'm going to start calling it private seller. Because aren't these private sellers pretty cocky? It's, hey, I can sell my house. I don't need an agent. You're right. You probably can. You won't get the price that an agent could because you don't have a process to generate competition, period. And the only answer I have to answer from a listing perspective is, what is it that I do that creates competition? And then if I can create more competition than other agents, the likelihood that I'm going to list more properties is enhanced. Anybody disagree with that? So that becomes your question. What is it that you're going to do that enhances competition? If I control my own income and I make more money per transactions, is it really such a bad career to be in right now? And gosh, if all those other agents do run for the fences, which I believe there's going to be a number of them, we have less people to take and do reduced commissions. Oh, my brother-in-law is an agent. He's going to do it for $500. Those people will be leaving the business. And then they'll have a professional to be able to do that. See, when you understand that you have a process like Home Boss that creates competition, here's how many of you guys want to hear the text message? Because how many of you guys hate cold calling? Let me do that one first. How many of you guys cold call on a daily basis? 2, 3 hours, whatever it is. Put it in the chat box, unmute yourself. You all have the ability to unmute yourself. So how many of you do that? So I'm assuming nobody's answered because nobody does. Can we agree then that real reason is you probably hate it? And hate's not the right word. It's you're afraid of it. And we're afraid of it. Why? Mostly you don't understand the value that you bring to the relationship, if you will. But the truth is, you don't really have the process to do it. Make sense? So let me share this with you. How many of you guys could do this? How many of you could take and send a text? I'm going to give you the script to a for sale by owner, a private seller. The first text is, "Good morning. My name is Bob. I had some questions on your home, but it looks like it's sold already. I know it didn't sell. Why did I ask that question that way? I want to get a no from them up front. The reason is that psychologically, folks, people are trained to answer no. And once you give them the opportunity to say no once, they let their guard down. The other thing, isn't this the script everybody uses? Hey, my name's Bob with eXp Realty. Hey, the reason I'm calling is to see if your home's still available. Now you're just like everybody else. Then if they go, no, it's available, my next question is, hey, are you currently negotiating with any potential buyers? Why do I do that? Because somewhere down the conversation, when I talk to them about actually listing the property, I don't want them to say, well, you know what, but I've been negotiating with somebody. So their chances are great because their guard is down. They're going to go, no. If they say yes, I don't care. Text number 3. In all honesty, I probably don't have a buyer today, but I do have a process where I'm able to get 4, 5, 6, or even 10 buyers competing to make you offers in the next 14 days and give them a process to outbid each other, guaranteeing you the highest market value for your home. If I could do that, are you open to offering the standard 3% finder's fee to an agent? If they say anything about commission, hey, I do it for 2 or whatever it is, doesn't matter. What did we just do with that text, folks? What did that text just do? Can we agree it sorted them? It gave them the opportunity to go, what are you talking about? Because as soon as they do anything along that line, it becomes real simple for me that the last text is, hey, when can we set up a quick Zoom call so I can walk you through the process? And that's our listing process, our listing presentation. We do it on Zoom. How many of you guys could do that instead of a cold call? How many of you could do that? Raise your hand, put it in the chat box. Because if they answer yes, you're going to do a Zoom listing presentation. You have to do a listing presentation. Here's the thing, folks. At the end of the day, you have to talk to people about buying, selling, investing in real estate. If you don't talk to people, you will go broke. Might as well leave the business. Now, there's different ways that you can talk to them, right? We can cold call, we can door knock, we can advertise, we can have leads calling us. But in order to transaction, you're going to have to talk to them, aren't you? And then you're going to have something of value to say to them. So you could do that. You could build a referral network and have people refer to you. But you still have to do what? You have to talk to them. There is no escaping the fact that you need to talk to people. The question is, how will you do it in a way that you can be comfortable doing it and you'll do it on a consistent basis? That's what we train agents on how to do at the Real Estate Asset Advisors, all about training agents, putting a foundation in place, creating a business proposition, a value proposition about why hire you instead of other agents? Because the question would be, why would I hire you instead of other agents? I want you to list my house. Why you instead of everybody else? Chances are great I have a relative that's a real estate agent. They'll do it at a way discounted fee. Discount agents are a dime a dozen. If you doubt me, just type into Google discount real estate agents in whatever city you're in. Why would they hire you? What's your process? Here's the thing, folks. I can go into somebody's house and I can go in and do a listing presentation, tell them how wonderful I am and all about my company and all about the marketing, and they don't care. They don't know what marketing means. The only thing that they care about is, how are you going to get me the most money fast? And how are you going to get rid of all my headaches and hassles? If you don't have a process for that, you're not going to do as well in listing presentations. If you get blown off in listing presentations, you'll never pick up the phone and talk to them. Does that make sense? So what do we start with, the scripting or the process? We train agents, let's focus on the process first so that we know what to say and then how to say it. And we separate ourselves from that's what we actually do. So we just have to think that process through. So here's the next decision that you have to make. What are you going to do to generate business or generate conversations? For me, is the better way of saying it. You can cold call, but can we agree 98% of you just don't do it, don't like it, probably won't. You can door knock. I personally have never door knocked, and I'm not saying it doesn't work, but that's an option. I can give you examples of people who do very good business doing door knocking. But if you're afraid to pick up the phone and you need to have a conversation, most people are more comfortable talking to someone in person. Then door knocking is a low cost alternative. How much does it cost you to door knock? The answer is nothing. Or you can advertise. What's the downside to advertising, folks? What is it? What's the downside to advertising? Money. What's the biggest headache real estate agents have? Consistent cash flow. So if you have it, great, you can advertise. But here's the question that I have for you. Let's just talk about a Facebook lead. The reason for that is because the conversion rate on a Facebook lead into a closing is below 0.5%. Is it more important for you to focus on generating the lead or figuring out how to convert them? What's more important in a real estate business, the number of leads you have or the number that you convert into closings? It's the closings. It's a rhetorical question. So why would you spend a lot of money that you're going to have to work really hard advertising to somebody that you got about 0.5% chance of turning it into business? You can do social media. Again, most people that are afraid of cold calling or door knocking are afraid of a camera and talking in front of it. And let's be honest, folks, most agents, what they do is they just talk about real estate all the time. And at the end of the day, people are turned off by that. We're not good at it. Or the other thing is, y'all know who they are. I have an agent locally in Phoenix. She was ranked as one of the top 10 influencers as a real estate agent by Inman. She walks around in mini skirts, bikinis, shorts, and whatever. If you can do that, I guess it works out. Fred, you and I can't do that, can we?
We could, but it probably wouldn't bring the right result.
Yeah, probably not. So the last resource that we have of getting business at a very low cost would be referrals, right? But if you don't have a database and you don't have a good reason for people to hire you, why would they refer you to anyone? And then again, let's go back to laying the foundation. Do you have a system? Do you have a process? Do you have a strategy to build referrals, to build a referral network? So here's what I can tell you, folks. If you want to be successful in real estate, the number one most successful way is have a local referral network, have a national referral network, and have a global referral network. And you have systems and processes for that. One of my friends is an agent at KW. She does about between 40 and 60 transactions a year. She does absolutely no marketing other than to referral agents or to other agents in other parts of the country would have people moving to Phoenix. And what she does is she mails the referral checks out in a green envelope. And every time she's mailing one out, she does a little video that she posts on social media or Facebook, sends to her database, etc. Hey, this week's green envelope is going out to Susie Q in Poughkeepsie, New York, because she sent over Tom and Susie Smith. That's her business. How many of you guys would like a business like that? Everybody would. But that also requires work, and you still have to talk to the referrals. So at the end of the day, guys, those are the 5 ways to do that. What we do at the Real Estate Asset Advisors, we focus on listings. I will tell you right up front, if you're okay cold calling or sending that text message that I shared with you, that's your fastest way to money, period. No questions asked. It's the way it is. Those other ways are slower ways to get the business. If you had a referral network like Laura does that consistently sending her 40 to 60 deals a year, that's a great business model, isn't it? That doesn't happen as fast as you picking up the phone and talking to a private seller that's already got the thing on the market or an expired listing. Make sense? Throw a hell yeah in the comment box if that makes sense to you. So we have to have a way because, I'll talk to agents and they go, you know what? I just can't bring myself to cold calling. I don't know how I'll make it in real estate. Hey, there are other ways, but you just have to get really strategic about it. And that's what we do at our organization is help you get strategic about it. We have a process that will allow you to build a local referral network. Our value proposition is why we can do that. Our company allows us to have a national network. We've got 90,000 agents all across the US, and it allows us a global because we're doing business in 22 countries. And we have lots of people that come from whatever, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Singapore, that are buying properties in Phoenix, Arizona. Gosh, wouldn't it be great to have a global network of people that you could promote your listings to? Low cost. Here's the good news, folks. That will generate transactions for you for decades. So what's the value proposition of your business? I'm going to share with you what ours is, and I'm going to tell you how we tie this into everything. If you're a seller, it's very simple. We can get your home sold, the highest market value, guaranteed in 14 days, and you pay half the cost of an old-fashioned listing. That gets their attention. Our buyer's proposition, very simple. Our goal is to help our clients build wealth through real estate in the house that they live in. We have a process that we help you as a homeowner pay your home off in 7 to 10 years, saving you hundreds of thousands of dollars in payments and interest. And then we help you utilize that money to fund a retirement plan that can generate in excess of $1 million in the same time period every other realtor and lender would have you paying off your home. If we can help you do that, would you be open to having a discussion with how working with us can help you accomplish that? Guys, do you want to know how many people over the 30 years I've done this have said no to that? Including all the agents I've trained all over the country, other countries. Do you want to know how many people have ever said no to that? Zero. Because how would you say no to that? Now, I'm not going into that process. That's a different business briefing. But here's the thing. The way that I help them do that is to pay off the loan early. So let me give you an example. If you were buying a $400,000 house right now at 6% interest, and obviously rates are like 7.5 right now, at 6% interest, the seller would pay $484,000 in interest on that home. I can help them get that number down to about $1,000. So they'd save $402,000 in payments and interest. And then we connect them with local money professionals. We don't do it. When I say connect is another nice word for what? We refer them to financial planners, CPAs, 1031 exchange companies, self-directed IRA companies, estate planners. We build a referral network of these people. You go, oh, Bob, that's so hard. I wouldn't even know where to do that. So, Julie, you're not one of my agents. You can unmute. Do you want to role play with me? Come on, Julie, be brave. Are you answering text or voicemail? Alina, how about you? Do you want to role play? Fred, apparently you're the only one. Rex Malson, how about you? You want me to show you how easy this is to do in Ohio? All right, Fred. Everybody else is afraid. I know you're good for it. You ready?
Bring it.
Hey, Fred, and what do you want to be, Fred? You want to be, how about we do an insurance agent?
Sure.
Hey, Fred, this is Bob with EXP Realty. Hey, the reason I'm reaching out is about 90% of my clients tell me that they want to buy life insurance. Are you accepting new clients?
I'm always accepting new clients.
Great. When do you want to sit down and meet for coffee and I can walk you through what I'm teaching my people and why they would want the insurance? And we could talk about maybe how we could work together. Does that work for you?
Yeah, probably. We could probably tie it up till after Memorial Day, but after that, yeah, let's get together.
Perfect. Right. I could do it on Zoom. Right. So I could always do it that way. But if I want to build a referral relationship, folks, don't I want to meet these people first? Don't I want to have a relationship with them before I go out and do this?
Sure.
Of course we do. It doesn't matter what kind of business. Fred, you want to be a divorce attorney?
Certainly.
Hey, Fred, my name is Bob with EXP Realty. Hey, the reason I'm calling is I actually have a marketing plan where I actually come across people that are getting divorced. And some of them already have attorneys, but many already don't. If I was to refer them to you, are you guys accepting new clients?
Yes, sir. Always.
Guys, I don't care if you couldn't get through the gatekeeper and they left you a voicemail or you had to leave a voicemail. If you leave that voicemail, will that divorce attorney call you back?
More than likely, yes.
Yep. So what we do at the Real Estate Asset Advisor Group, we can get you access to divorce, people getting divorced. Here's why we love that database, guys. 19.1% of everybody who files for divorce, a homeowner, sells their house in the first year, 48.4% in the second year, which means over the next 24 months, 67.5% of them, how many of you guys would want access to them before any other real estate agent knew about it? Had access to them so that you could start to market to them and get to know your name. How many of you guys would want that?
I sure would.
Of course. So at the end of the day, guys, the business referral network, we start with every place that we could refer someone out. Fred, anybody ever called you for, I don't know, like a handyman?
Absolutely.
So when they call you, folks, you go, oh, you know what? Shoot, I don't really know anybody. Not if you want to get referrals. See, what we do, our tagline, our business motto at the Real Estate Asset Advisor Network is to take our realtors and take them from being a realtor and turn them into being a resource. Because here's the thing, folks. What's the reputation right now of real estate agents?
Low.
Terrible. It was always low. But now we have buyers suing us and sellers suing us. Do you want to be known as a realtor or as a resource? I know that Fred guy, all I got to do is call him with anything I need. He's there for me. What if we created a whole system for you to network with those people, help you drive traffic to their business? How many of you guys are familiar with the law of reciprocity? Raise your hand. I won't even ask you to respond. Raise your hand if you know what the law of reciprocity is. Really? Only Fred? Seriously? Wow. It's pretty simple, folks. In order to get, you have to give. When you give somebody something, they feel obligated to give you something back. It's that simple. If I give Fred 20 referrals a month, I can drive 20 customers to Fred's business. Does Fred want to make sure he keeps me as a referral partner, as his friend? Of course he does. That's 240 new customers a year. Fred, what do you think it would require for you to continue to be my friend and me to continue to drive traffic to your business?
I probably should drive some to your business.
The law of reciprocity. So if you want to build these referral networks, and by the way, folks, I gave you the 5 ways: cold calling, door knocking. Can you do all 5 of those? You can, because they can circumvent at some point. These referral networks will take and drive all the business that you need. And they're, excuse me, social media strategies that we have. Like, how many of you guys would love to have a page where you've got 10,000 people following you, and every time they go to the page, they see you, and they go to the page 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week, and you email them twice a week, and they see your name, but you're not emailing them with crap about the real estate market all the time. You're not real estating all over them. Would that seem like a better way to get your name out in front of people? So I call it being the mayor of your community, being the mayor of your database. Do you have a database of people that are likely to sell their home in the next, call it 6 months to 3 years? No? You need that, don't you? And then you need to be able to have a system, because you're probably not going to cold call them. Let's just be honest. Probably not. So what else do you do to stay top of mind that you're the real estate agent of their choice? That's part of the laying the foundation that we talk about, folks. We can help you lay the foundation for that, to build that kind of business in our organization. That's what we do. We turn realtors into resources. We let them become the mayor of their community and their database. And we give them systems and strategies that they can implement that stay within their personality or some level of their comfort zone. So why did I say some level of your comfort zone? Because I have people come into the real estate business and say, I really like to go and look at houses, and I like to maybe show houses, but I'm really shy and introverted, and I don't like to talk to people. Folks, I have to have an honest conversation with them at that point that real estate is not the business for them. If I can teach you what to say, give you value propositions, processes that you can readily explain, and most importantly, folks, not promise, but deliver results. And I can share with you the different results that we obtain. Two of my agents last night finished the listing process. I believe they both ended up with 23 different offers on their price on their homes, about 15% above market value. Do you have a process like that you can explain, that you could show, that you could share those results? If you don't, you might want to follow us on Instagram at HomeBoss Global. And we also have a page for real estate asset advisors. So it's just at HomeBoss Global or at Real Estate Asset Advisors. You guys may want to follow us for a little bit of this stuff. You may want to join our Facebook group. We let anybody in. You don't even have to be a member of an organization because we're trying to change the minds and the thinking of real estate agents. Will we do that with every agent? We won't. If you need proof of that, guys, every one of you on this call, other than Fred, when I gave you the chance to talk, you didn't. You have to get over that. But if you have a powerful value proposition and you knew you could deliver it and you could prove it in writing, would you feel more comfortable talking to more people? If the answer is no, then the truth is you really do have to evaluate your real estate business. But if you say, yes, I could, then we can help with all that. Does that make sense? Give me a hell yeah in the comment box. At least let me know you can say hell yeah in a comment box. You got enough to do that. Go ahead. So we talked about having a USP. What's yours? Because here's the thing, guys. If you have a great USP and you have a great reputation, it will equal great results. Here's the question. You guys can tell me now. Seriously, put it in the chat box. How many people do you reach out to on a daily business to talk about doing business with you? Let me come back so I can see the chat box. How many do you actually reach out to? Thank you, Fred. Somebody at least can say, hell yes. 4 to 5. That's a pretty decent number, guys. We need to get it up to about 10. Why? Because not everybody's ready to do business right now. I didn't say how many listing appointments do you have to take every day. You're not going to take 10 a day. Chances are great without a bigger model than that. But the question becomes, how many do you have to talk to? And the answer is 10 a day. Do they always have to be people that are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate? The answer is no. Then they could be referral partners. Could they be FSBOs, canceleds, expireds? Although I don't love canceleds, simply because they canceled for a reason. Guys, what if you had a database of local flippers in your market? They flip, oh, I don't know, you can do this, right? We teach you how to go and build a database this way. What if you had a database of, call it, I don't know, 250 flippers that flip at least 5 homes, and you reached out to them and said, hey, Fred, Bob with eXp Realty, hey, if I could show you a pretty simple way that you could maximize the profit on every one of your houses that you flip using a process that I have, and my fee was only 3%, but I could increase your net by 5, 8, 10% on every property. Would you want to have coffee?
Sure would.
Guys, what if you got 10 of those flippers to give you their listings? 10 times 5 is 50. If they maximize their profit on it and they sell their homes quicker, could they do more than 5 flips a year? The answer is they all would if they had the money, cash flow, and could move faster from project to project. I can help them with that, with the home boss process. What could you help them with? That's why having that value proposition is so important. So you need a database of those kind of people. Unfortunately, guys, you're going to have to talk to them. Now, the default is I'm going to mail them or I'm going to email them. You just have to understand, folks, very few people read their email. Half of it goes to spam. I'm not saying we don't email. I'm just saying you got to accept the fact that's the way it is. And so at the end of the day, what are you going to do about that? How are you going to communicate with them? You have to decide that. We can help you with it, but it's your call. And we can tell you within any of those processes, which is the best way to do it. And finally, I'm going to leave with this one. How do you know if you're actually the resource for your database, for your past clients, the people that refer you business? How do you know if you're a resource for them? And the answer is very simple, folks. They call you instead of you calling them. So Fred, tell the story of somebody who just had the house painted and they called you.
The lady actually was my bocce ball team, and we were sitting at practice one day, and she said, hey, you're in real estate, aren't you? And I said, well, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. She said, listen, we just had our house painted, and my daughter and I need to have somebody come in and help us rehang some pictures and artwork. Both of us have bad backs. So I don't want my daughter doing that, and I'm not getting up on the ladder. I said, I actually do happen to have a person that would be perfect for you to use to help. I've used her for over 10 years in my business. She's a great personality. She's very well trained, blah, 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 blah. And that person is coming tomorrow to hang the picture. And I'll just tell you, there's two benefits to this. Number one, the lady that is the eldest, the mother, is going to be making a change soon. She's just getting to that part of age where a house is too much. And the second benefit is I met her daughter, who's also on the bocce team, and knowing the daughter is just as important as knowing the mother. When that change time comes, having a relationship with the daughter who will be making the decisions is important.
Remember, folks, seniors also have kids. So at the end of the day, that's why it's so critical to become a resource, not a realtor, because people don't really like realtors, let's be honest. But they do like resources. So at the end of the day, that's what our whole organization is about. Focus on listings, focus on value, focus on finding a foundation for your business that you're going to be comfortable in executing and being able to do the things that you know you need to do. And our entire goal is to take you from being a realtor that doesn't have a lot of favorable feelings, not you personally, but real estate as itself, to becoming a resource for people, to becoming the person who controls a referral network so that you can control your income. So that's what we do. So if you have any interest in talking to me, you can go to Brainstorm with Bob, or here, the easiest way, you can schedule a call. You can go to ifyoulistyoulast.com. It should be pretty easy to remember. You can connect with the podcast there. You could download my book, If You List You Last. And you can also schedule a time to talk with me. And we can talk about your business and see what it looks like. Figure out if that's a good fit. If it is, great, we can talk about it. If it's not, that's okay too. Make sense? So that's it, folks. I won't ask if you have any questions because people very rarely ever ask questions. So let's skip with that. And thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. I hope that helped you some, or at least gave you something to think about. So with that, have a great rest of the week and go out, take a listing, because if you list, you do last. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bob.